Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday. It is November 29th. It is 2023. We have 7 NBA games to talk about here on today's podcast. Got my buddy Will Priester, ChiefJustice06, hanging out with me today. Chief, in-season tournament, Boston comes out. They handle their business, knock my Magic out with the 3-way tie. It goes to differential, and Boston just... Did you see that game? I know you were watching your son play tonight, some hoops, but Boston had Tatum and some other like starters out there up. I think they were up like 24-25 with like 2 minutes to go, and they still had Tatum out there trying to do the differential thing. The exact same thing I talked about on this podcast yesterday. It wasn't Tatum tonight. It was Brown, which kind of stinks because Tatum is the guy that I had some props on, but. Boston did exactly what I thought they were going to do. I'm hoping. I have a lot of action going on in this Boston or this Golden State Sacramento game, so it'd be fun to kind of watch that as we're recording here.
Yeah, and I know if Sac wins, they're in. Like Sac, Milwaukee, and who was the other team? It was 3 teams today. If they just won, Houston. They were in for sure. Houston.
That game's still going.
Yeah, if they win, they're in. And then Boston, I think, needed to be what? They needed 22 points, I think it was.
Yeah, it was something. It was something like large, and they ended up doing it.
Yeah, of course, man.
They won by I think 27.
Yeah, let me say this, Stevie. People can say what they want. Like, even though it's for pride on the line, and they probably get a little bonus too. These teams want to win this tournament, and that's really making the middle of the NBA or beginning middle of the NBA before the All-Star break, like exciting. So think about that, Steve. We're going to get this type of excitement through December 9th. Then we'll probably cruise to the All-Star break. Some teams will start ramping up because they want to get ready. We'll have the All-Star break, and then we're cruising to the playoffs with teams getting really competitive. And some of the teams that may not have made the playoffs this year still had a shot at the in-season tournament. Like this may have just literally revitalized basketball, NBA, before our eyes, and we might be too new into it to realize how great it's going to be in the end. I like it so far.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've talked about it here over the last couple of weeks. I absolutely love it. Something like to get teams on track, like super early in the season. We saw what Boston did tonight. Like they wanna, and like. They do get bonus as well. Every player on the winning team gets $500K. So
I'll take it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are some bonuses there. All right, we got 7 games here to talk about on this fantastic Wednesday. What's up, YouTube? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday night, hanging out with us live on YouTube. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. We got a month to go. We got some people to go. So tell your friends, tell your family, hit the subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to know when we go live. Most nights it's 10 o'clock. Will's son had a basketball game. He's filling in for someone tonight, so a little later tonight. But, hey, we still got the goods. Let's talk some hoops. Hey, we get started with my Magic. Washington at Orlando. 233.5 total here in an Orlando Magic game, which is fantastic. The Magic, a 9.5 point favorite. They have one of the highest implied team totals on the slate. Ryan and Wright out for Washington. Wendell Carter, Fultz out. Isaac questionable. Isaac doesn't matter a lot, but he is playing about 18 minutes a night, so that obviously opens up a few extra minutes. We'll start here with Washington. Tough matchup. Orlando Magic, one of the best defensive teams in the league this season. I have a lot of interest in the Magic in this game because, pace-wise, we know that Washington's going to push the pace, and Orlando doesn't necessarily play that fast. But, I think we have to have interest in the Orlando side. It's like, who do we want to play on the Washington side to potentially run it back with here?
I actually don't want to play anyone. Stevie, so here's what's crazy. Like, I haven't been playing too many guys against the Orlando Magic unless it's like elite teams. I was telling someone the other day, I said, don't look now. The Magic are 12-5, by the way. Right in the thick of everything. Like, and they limit rebounds, they limit assists, Stevie. Like, it's crazy. And this is still a fairly young team. I mean, they've got Gary Harris, who's older, but like he's not an impact player. Maybe Mo Wagner, if you want to consider him older, but like generally speaking, sorry, and I know I'm talking about the Magic, but I don't want to play anybody from Washington, and the Magic have been playing really good. That's basically what I want to say.
I think Gafford's still cheap enough at 5,800 that you could take some shots here. Like he's like the one guy. He's just consistently doing everything. He's blocking shots. He's getting steals. He's getting rebounds. I mean, he's just filling up stat sheets. And at 5,800, I think he's the one guy that I have a little bit of interest here in like a run back. Because like Isaac potentially missing this game. He's a good defender on the inside. I know he doesn't play a ton of minutes, but that's a bump. Wendell Carter Jr. out. We know he's good inside. Goga has been fantastic inside. I know, you were talking about how they're not letting rebounds and stuff. He's filled in fantastically. I mean, so I get why like you might not have a ton of interest in Gafford. I just think like if I'm gonna play somebody from Washington, it's probably him or paying up for like a Kuzma, but I don't think I want to do it. And Kuzma has a really tough matchup here.
And let me just say, Stevie, I was so hurt. I didn't play Jordan Poole. I didn't take any Jordan Poole props. When this Detroit game, I was praying, Stevie, that Jordan Poole went off for about 25, 26 points again, because I wanted the books to get him up to about 24 to 25 and a half so I could take this under in the Orlando. I was waiting, and he goes up there and scores 10 points, which is kind of going to screw up his recent average. And so the books are probably going to come out at 22 and a half on it. And I still might take the under. But my point is, man, Orlando's been good defensively, like really good. I think they're top 5. They might even be top 3, Stevie, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of defensive efficiency. And it's showing in all the categories across the board. Like I just and most people, like you said, on Washington are priced up outside of Gafford. I get the Gafford call. I still don't think I'm going to play anyone from Washington.
Yeah, Orlando's 3rd in defensive rating. They're 4th in rebounding rate. They're not a great DFS matchup.
Yeah.
Magic, nice pace up spot here. Banchero has been playing phenomenal. I don't know, 8,200 is a tough price tag. Franz Wagner, 7,500. He's been playing great. They're all just playing really good. No one's having like ceiling games. I think
except
like
Cole Anthony.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cole Anthony would be the guy that I think you could take some tournament shots in here. Washington just abysmal defensively. Allows the 2nd most fantasy points per game to opposing guards. So I think this is a fantastic matchup for him. I wish Gogo was playing a little bit more. Like he's been playing great, but I mean, the games haven't necessarily been that close, so he hasn't got a ton of run. Mo Wagner, when he's playing well, they keep him out there. So I think Anthony, Banchero, Franz Wagner would be the 3 I'm looking at here for the Magic.
Yeah, absolutely, because I feel like those 3 guys have the minutes security. Now, Suggs has the minute security as well, but he's just not really an upside play, in my opinion, Stevie. Now, in terms of floor, he's probably going to get you 25 to 30 fantasy points here. But for him to like get to 40, like somebody else is going to have to sit. Like Cole Anthony, I think, would just have to be out of the game. And I don't see that happening. Cole Anthony is priced up. He's 6,700. But if Cole Anthony's going to get 30-something minutes, 31, 32 minutes against this team, I'm willing to roll the dice at 6,700. He could have another upside game for sure.
All right, moving on here. We got LA Lakers at Detroit facing the Pistons. 229 total here. Lakers a 7-point favorite. Hachimura, Vanderbilt, Vincent remain out. LeBron questionable. On the Detroit side, Bogdanovich, Harris, Morris out. We'll start here with the Lakers. Good matchup. Going up against Detroit, I think this is a great matchup for the Lakers. And, Detroit's not a good defensive team. Detroit is 10th in pace. The Lakers are 15 in pace. So, like, pace-wise, should be a really solid game. What do you like here for the Lakers?
I like the Lakers quite a bit here, Stevie, especially Anthony Davis. He's 9,800. I love Stevie, and this isn't like a DFS thing. It is a DFS thing, but it correlates to real life. I love taking Anthony Davis after he just kind of has somewhat of a flop game. The Lakers got beat by 44 points, Stevie. I can assure you they roll into Detroit ready to just blow this team out of the water. So I like the Lakers here, especially AD at 9,800. When I looked through everything the other day, Steven, I was just kind of doing some data digging, if you will. Believe it or not, Anthony Davis, out of all the games he has played, I think in 60% of those games, if I'm not mistaken, he's been over 50 fantasy points. And then out of those games, I think 60% of those have been over 60 fantasy points. But we don't think about it because he's AD, he plays for the Lakers, and he's Mr. Glass, and sometimes he sits. But this season, Stevie, I mean, he's kind of been stable, and then when he's boom, he's boom. He's going for 60 plus. So I like him in this spot against Detroit. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate. D'Angelo Russell hovering around 6,600 might not actually be the best 6K play. It might actually be Austin Reeves, who, while he had a down game against Philly, the whole team did, he's been playing really well off the bench. I think LeBron has a good game here, and then I'm kind of with you. If Reddish happens to be out again,
he's probable.
He's probable. Thank you. So we won't get Christie, and Christie been priced up anyway. That's probably also going to impact Prince a little bit, just a tad. So it's probably mainly AD for me, but I don't hate D'Angelo Russell at 6,600 and Austin Reeves at 65.
Yeah, I like AD in this spot. I think this is a really good spot for him. I think looking at Detroit, they definitely have some weaknesses in the front court. They've really struggled against centers this season. They're allowing the most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. So I could see AD having a big game. I'm a little concerned about Reeves with Reddish coming back. Like, Reddish was eating a little bit into Reeves, and are we worried about that? A little bit, I think. So I really like AD. AD is someone that I could see smash in this spot. And I don't mind taking some tournament shots on Cam Reddish. Like, he was playing 30 minutes a night in close games before he got hurt at 4,700. Kind of forgotten piece here. And I assume that he'll be good to go. Detroit side of this game, man, I'm a huge fan of Cade Cunningham. We talked about him so much last year, just an extremely good, talented player. Don't necessarily hate the matchup for Detroit. It's just, Cunningham's price is a little tough. Duren has a tougher matchup. I'm struggling to get to the Detroit side here.
I think it might be Jaden Ivey one more time, Stevie. This is probably it. Last call for Mr. Ivey. If we get, if Ivey has another big game, he'll probably be over 6K the next start, and then I'm going to have to hop off the train. So I think for me, if I was going to run this game a little, let's call it a skinny game stack, Stevie, probably be AD and Ivy, and that's it for me.
Yeah, I like the Ivy call. He's still like borderline price. Like, he has one more good game. He's going to go over 6K, and then it's going to be tough to get to him. So, so I'm with you on Ivy. I like that call. I'm going to keep looking at Cade's point props. It keeps coming in at like 23 and 24.5. And he did absolutely nothing in the first quarter the other night and still ended up getting there.
26. Finished with 26, 7 and 5, and I had him over PRA in that game. So thank you, Cade.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep looking at his point prop. If it continues to sit at like 23 number, 24 number, I think it's worth looking at. Phoenix at Toronto, 222.5 total here. Phoenix 2-point favorite. Toronto second end of a back-to-back. We'll wait and see if there's any news that comes out of that game. Beal, Lee, and Little out. Allen and Durant questionable. Could be a very short-handed Phoenix team. Could be potentially a Devin Booker night. If we get news that like Grayson Allen and Kevin Durant sit, Booker's going to have a gazillion amount of usage in this game. He's already been playing fantastic recently, but his usage is going to be a gazillion. And that is not exaggerated. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. Booker's been playing well when he's played as well because, he's had his injury spots and he's been out. He's now 10-3. if Durant is out of this game, the price on Booker is going to scare me a tad, just a tad, Stevie, because at 10-3, we need him to score roughly 55, 60 fantasy points for like just not completely tank us. So we'll see how the injury stuff goes. I wanted to get to Eric Gordon, Steve. I really did. He's now 5,900, and that's really close for me. Now, with no Durant, I got to think, the shot attempts are still going to be there. But I think at 5,900, I think we're safe with the fade there. Perhaps Nurkic could get a little bit more involved, Stevie. We've seen him at 30-plus minutes if Durant's out. I'll probably lean a little bit more Nurkic than anyone. I think my rankings would be Nurkic, Booker, Eric Gordon, and then we kind of move to some of these other secondary pieces. I mean, with Allen being out, you got to think Okogie's going to play more minutes as well, so he could possibly slide into 30 minutes like he was at the beginning of the season when Booker and Beal were out. So we could get creative. They'll have enough pieces. But those are kind of my rankings right now. Nurkic, Booker, Gordon, and then probably Okogie. That's if KD and Allen are out.
I think something we should note is like Jordan Goodwin has played phenomenal over the last couple games. And they've given him a little bit more run because he's been playing good. Like if we start getting Allen, we start getting Durant ruled out, I think Goodwin is someone who's already earned some minutes here recently, could potentially slide into that starting lineup and just really benefit in this spot. Toronto, second end of a back-to-back, pretty young team overall. I don't expect really anybody to sit the second end of a back-to-back here. I mean, maybe somebody, but what are your thoughts on Toronto?
I feel like everybody on Toronto is now kind of priced appropriately, Stevie. And Scotty Barnes is someone that I played, I mean, so much, Stevie. I pretty much played him every slate of probably the first 2 weeks. He just wasn't priced up enough. And now he's priced up enough, and, guys are catching up. That things are kind of spread out here. They should be able to have their way with Phoenix if Phoenix has all those guys sitting, they have a full roster. But once again, I just feel like everybody's priced where they should be. So I'm not that interested. I would probably still play Scotty Barnes in tournaments, still have a share of Siakam in tournaments, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, I want to see what the injury report on this game looks like tomorrow around 1:30. I mean, I hate to say that, but there could be a lot of value. There could be very little value in this game. And like Kevin Durant makes such a huge difference if he's in or out. Like KD he has such a high ceiling anyway. All right, Utah at Memphis. Man, battle of the bad teams here. 225.5 total. Memphis a 5-point favorite. Marketing out. Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk questionable. Memphis side, Adams, Clark, Kennard, Morant, Smart, Tillman out. Memphis very shorthanded right now. We continue to talk about it. Let's go to Utah first here. What do we like for the Jazz going up against Memphis? I mean, you have to.
Yep,
rookie mistake.
I haven't done that in, I think, a couple weeks.
Couple podcasts, yeah.
Yeah. I actually like Utah here. So what I've seen out of Utah, Stevie, even when they've been down players, like their defensive efficiency is terrible. But this team is going to continue to play. Like they're not slacking and just giving up. Like Keontae George has carved himself out of a nice little role here. Colin Sexton still coming off the bench playing well. Like, so if this is the matchup with Memphis, I trust Utah way more than I trust Memphis today. So, I don't hate Jordan Clarkson at 7,600. I know he's questionable. If he plays, like he's got 40, 50-point upside with the lack of some of their better bodies. We'll get Walker Kessler here again, who had another game, but the minutes increased. He played 26 minutes. Perhaps we get him to 30 minutes this game. And that's kind of how I'm going to track this. Went from 21 to 26. If this game, Stevie, I'm going to predict him for 30, which means he's squarely in play for tournaments. If he finishes at 26 minutes, that means I just, Perhaps he still gets more than 30 fantasy points, but I lose some ceiling. But I am willing to roll that out. In the event he gets 30 plus minutes, this could be a really, really, really fantastic outing for him against a Memphis team that's been just dreadful.
So Kessler came off the bench the other night. Yurt 7 ended up starting.
Yep, and that's what happened on Saturday too. They've done it back to back.
Yeah, and I mean they beat New Orleans, so I wouldn't expect him to change anything. I think like the guy that I want to play here is Keontae George. With all these injuries, with Clarkson banged up right now again, I think Keontae George sees enough of an upside bump here at 6,100. If Clarkson's out, George is going to be chalky. So that
he's been good though. He's been so good.
And like Horton Tucker has just kind of lost his minutes here recently.
Gone.
So I don't know if I'd take shots on him. They like Fontecchio here at 4,600. They've been playing him. He started the other night. He played 28 minutes. He's kind of taken the THT role here recently.
He has. And Steve, I think it's important to note that over the weekend, because I know you weren't playing over the weekend, Clarkson was out, Marketing was out, and they kept the same rotation. THT didn't play a lot of minutes. Fontecchio played. Colin Sexton got a few more minutes off the bench. And they started Chris Dunn. So if Sexton sits, if Utah holds true to what they've done, they're going to start George, Dunn, Fontecchio, Collins, and Yurt 7. Sexton will get most of the minutes off the bench. They'll play some THT. They'll play some Agbaji. But that's what they've done. And Kessler will get 25, 30 minutes. So that's their blueprint so far. So I'm with you. Like THT is going to sit on the shelf for me. He has no value right now.
I think the one thing that we have to remember just in general about this game as a whole, both of these offenses stink. Just
also true.
Yeah, just remember that. Memphis side of this game, I mean, Desmond Bane, I think this is a phenomenal spot for him. I know he hasn't had a good game recently, but like, he just faced Boston, Houston, Phoenix, Minnesota.
Minnesota, Houston, and Boston, I think, are all top 10 in defensive efficiency.
Minnesota's second, Houston's first, Boston's fourth. So he's coming
off
of.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he's coming off of a really tough stretch there. So, and like Phoenix is 18th. They're not like a great defensive team, but they have the opportunity to be better defensively. So it's just been a rough stretch here. He put up 62 fantasy points against this team earlier this year. I think this is a Desmond Bane spot. He's another guy that I'll be looking at his point prop in this one. I think Desmond Bane has a really big game. Sante has been consistently solid. It's just, I mean, his shots have just been off a little bit. I mean, that's kind of what you're just hoping he has a good shooting night.
Yeah, for sure. And long gone, Stevie, are the days where we got Santi Aldama at like 4,500. I mean, he just shot up like a rocket quick. Couple games, bam, all the value is gone. I actually don't hate Santi in this spot, though. I think this could be him and Bane. This could absolutely be an upside spot for them, Stevie, because once again, Utah's defense is awful. Jaren Jackson, this could be a spot for him as well. And I know we haven't seen him pop, I think, in weeks, Stevie. Early this season, he had way more 40 and 50-point games. He's still got the upside inside, and playing Utah obviously could cure all woes here. So I'm with you. I don't mind the two big guns from Utah at all. I mean, the two big guns from Memphis, excuse me.
All right, Philadelphia at New Orleans, 226.5 total here. Philly, a 2-point favorite. House, Oubre, Springer out for Philly. Murphy, Ryan, doubtful for New Orleans. But the big thing here is, we've had CJ McCollum out for so long. On the injury report night before, CJ McCollum is questionable. So he's getting very close. And I mean, they're saying that he's going to participate in shoot around. We likely don't get this news until right before this game. So that's always fun. Let's start with Philadelphia. What do you like here for the Pelicans?
Yeah, I think this is easy, Steven. This is probably going to be one of the easiest spots all season. until prices, come down on some of these guys. But it's Embiid for me, Maxey sometimes. I don't think this is the spot for Maxey, although I think New Orleans has had some struggles in the guard position. Maxey's still 9,200. He's been playing phenomenal, but I still don't see him as a 50 fantasy point per game guy consistently. Embiid, on the other hand, Stevie, I mean, it's 60 almost every night. Like so at 11.8, I think he's still a little bit too cheap. If this was Luka, Stevie, and he had these numbers 63, 81, 56, 47, 75, 54, 61, 68, 68, 42, 55, 64, 68, 71, 68, he'd be 13K, 12.8 minimum. We're getting a discount, in my opinion, on Joel Embiid at 11.8, one of my favorite tournament plays on the day.
This guy just keeps smashing. He's like, I am winning MVP this year. Like I feel like that is his mentality. Like, I am going to be the MVP. I mean, he's a walking triple double upside. Like we talk about Jokic all the time being this type of player. Joel Embiid is playing phenomenal, and it's really just up the game of Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey's been balling.
And Stevie, here's what I will say as well. You have to give Nick Nurse his credit.
Yeah.
Now look, James Harden is out of the building, and I get that. But this offense is totally different. Tobias Harris is playing way better than he's played in 3 seasons. Like, they're just playing way better basketball, period.
All right. New Orleans side of this game, any interest here in the Pelicans?
I won't have any interest if CJ's back, because I think we'll now need to get, and CJ may not play 30 minutes in this game, so he could end up around 25 minutes, so I get that. But I think with all 3 of these guys, Stevie, we're going to have to see some price adjustments. Like, we've got Zion up to 9K. This is still Zion's team in the long run, I think, as long as he stays healthy. Brandon Ingram, Stevie, is 9,100. McCollum's 8,100. JV is 7K. I think everybody's priced too much if CJ comes back.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I will say, I talked about this the other day. Zion, last 3 games, 34, 34, 35 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Zion, 35 minutes. Zion is a guy that has 60-plus point upside. I don't like him. I'm with you as much if CJ comes back. But if CJ's out again, like, we might pay this 9K price tag for Zion in tournaments. All right, Houston at Denver. No total in this game. It is the hardest back-to-back in the NBA. We talk about this all the time here when it comes to Houston, or going into Denver on the second end of a back-to-back. Houston is in a nail-biter right now. It looks like they're going to lose, and them losing knocks them out of the in-season tournament.
They're out. Yeah, they're out.
Yeah, so gonna be a tough flight for Houston to Denver here after facing Dallas. The thing is, right, we have 3 giant question marks for Denver in this game. Gordon, Jokic, Murray are all questionable. None of them are ruled out. They're all questionable. Jabari Smith just hit a big 3, 2-point game, 6 seconds to go. Looks like the game is going to finish up, though. All right, Houston first. I worry about this Houston team, and not even just the in-season tournament potential knockout here. It looks like it's going to happen for a second, game just ended. So they lost, they're out. But
this tournament has just generated so much excitement. I just want to squeeze that in one more time.
Yeah.
Oh,
now, like, if you're Golden State right now is up 34 with a minute to go in the second. You keep pouring it on.
34 real points?
Yeah, they're pouring it on right now.
Yeah, because they're going to clinch wild card, I think, because Sac won't clinch.
I think they needed to win this game by more than 14. Someone could correct me in chat, but I think it's 12 or 14 they needed to win this game by.
Stevie, how much have we talked about NBA nuances?
I know, man.
Listen, you know how I feel about what I talked about at the end of the season and the end of the season tournament. You know about my email. I'm not going to get into that.
21. 21 points.
Yeah. So listen, I still think the NBA stole my idea and didn't give me credit. That's okay. We won't get into that. But this in-season tournament, Stevie, they deserve so much credit. We're so excited about a few games in the early part of the season. This thing's going to wrap up next week on December 9th. We're going to have this is amazing. Amazing. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, because now the Pelicans are in.
That's what it's all these nuances. It's incredible.
Yeah, Pelicans are in. I mean, with Houston losing, Pelicans are automatically in. Warriors need to win by 12 to win in advance. So they're up now that I can see they're up here. They just made a bucket, so they're up 17 at halftime. They scored 70. I hope you all listen to me about Steph Curry. He has 33.5 fantasy points at halftime. He's 5% owned. So anyway,
yeah.
All right. Back to this Houston team. Worst back-to-back you can have in the NBA. Coming off of a really tough loss and getting eliminated from the in-season tournament. And their game just ended. It's even it's 10 o'clock in Central Time. You got to think they have a midnight flight flying in Denver. That just sounds like a terrible spot. Wouldn't it be shocked if we see some Houston people ruled out for this game?
Yeah, I think the only thing, Stevie, that might make this flight worth it is if guys end up being out on the other side and they have a slightly easier matchup, which according to DeAndre Jordan and our good friend Reggie Jackson, this won't be an easy matchup. They're just going to take over the game. But I'm with you on Houston, man. This is going to be a tough game for them. Denver's already a fairly good defensive team, generally speaking. I'm probably out on Houston players like Jalen Green's price up to 6,800. That's not bad, but I can't see him pouring it on in this game coming up. I'm with you, man. I don't like Houston here.
Yeah. I obviously, if some people start getting ruled out, I have a lot more interest in Houston. But Denver's 8-0 at home this season. They've been one of the best, if not the best, home team all year. They just
beat the Clippers with nobody, basically.
Yeah,
all their stars were out. The only one that played was Michael Porter Jr. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic sat too, right? He was out.
Jokic sat, Gordon sat, Jamal Murray's been out.
Michael Porter Jr. had an awful game. Awful game. Yep.
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie and DeAndre and vintage DeAndre Jordan with 21, 13, and 5.
Are you shocked they were playing the Clippers? Reggie Jackson revenge.
And DeAndre Jordan revenge.
DeAndre Jordan revenge. I did not know. I did not realize that DeAndre Jordan played 34 minutes the other night.
Yes, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Stevie, it was just like the old days. He was catching lobs, dunking on people. I said, wow, he looked spry. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's go to the Denver side of this game because, I mean, this is obviously interesting. Jokic is questionable. Murray is questionable, which he's been ruled out every injury report here recently. And Gordon dealing with a heel injury. Heel strains are painful. And in basketball, heel strains are really painful. I doubt Aaron Gordon plays in this game. Denver, didn't we just say Denver is in, right? Are they out?
I thought they were already out. I think Denver was already out.
Denver's out. So they get a week off, right? They get a week off to get healthy. I don't expect them.
I would sit them this game.
Yeah, I don't expect them to, rush anybody back here, even if they have a game or two left this week. They're in a great spot, Yeah, I mean, they play 3 more games before the break here, where you get a week off. All right, Denver. Gotta wait and see what happens if Jokic, Murray, and Gordon sit. Jackson, Porter. I don't know if I want to play DeAndre Jordan if he's going to be chalky.
I mean, I don't know.
He just smashed. Don't get me wrong.
Stevie, even if he plays 34, 35 minutes again, I feel like his floor is 20 fantasy points at that point.
Did he start the second half in that game? I'm going to look it up real quick. Let me pull up game flow. I'm so curious if he started the second half.
I'm pretty sure he did.
He started in general. So if DeAndre Jordan starts,
Jackson.
Yeah, if Jordan starts, sure, why not?
I mean, this if he starts this game and Jokic is out, like this is probably it, because the next couple of games Jokic will probably be better. Like this is the only time we're going to get prime DeAndre Jordan available to actually play.
Well, Denver finishes the week right before the break against Phoenix and Sacramento, so you got to think that they sit these guys this game, give them a couple more days, and they bring them back. What is it, Friday?
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, watch the injury report. It's impossible. I mean, we could sit here and talk scenarios for 20 minutes, but just pay attention to the injury report here for Denver. We finish it out. Clippers and Kings, 230.5 total here. Sacramento, 1-point favorite. I already bet this, by the way. I already took the Clippers -1 in this game. I don't know if they're going to leave it up or if it's still up, because I bet it when I was doing my research.
Stack
but
loses this game, they're deflated on a back-to-back.
Yeah, already on a back-to-back. Let's go Clippers here first. Anything that you're liking for LA? These prices are slowly coming down.
Well, for me, Stevie, so Paul George's flop the other night was strictly foul trouble. Like, okay, I don't want to say strictly foul trouble. He also shot terribly, shot 2 for 13. But, I mean, he had been taking 20 shots a game. So I think he had 3 fouls in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, on that. And it just really crushed his early fantasy production. And Kawhi kind of had to take over the game. Point being, Paul George has been a steady force for the Clippers, so I don't hate him. Kawhi had a good game the other night at 8K. Excuse me, because PG, was on the bench for these chunks of stretches. I think we wanted to play Harden more, but it looks like his production's come down. I don't think I mind it, though, at 7,800 when he's going to play 35 minutes. I think Harden and PG are probably my top two. I'll take another wait and see with Kawhi, because I think Kawhi's production the other night was in correlation to Paul George's foul trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Clippers is if you're playing 150 teams, you're getting exposure to Harden, Kawhi, and George, because they're all like our generation, like us growing up watching over the last 10 years of basketball. These are 3 of the better players that we've had in the last 10 years. So we know I mean, like even Westbrook, prime Westbrook was one of the best fantasy DFS players that we've ever had.
I think people forget he also won league MVP and averaged a triple-double that year. Like, unbelievable.
I think the interesting play here from the Clippers is Zubac. He's 5,500. The price is kind of but they're going to need him to play minutes against Sabonis. Like, Sabonis is going to, if Sabonis doesn't get ruled out in this game, Sabonis is going to play his minutes, and Zubac is going to have to play and be out on the court. They don't really have another like true 5 with Plumlee out. Like, Tice is okay. He can get out there, and he's just not. Tice isn't guarding Sabonis, so I think Zubac at 5,500 is very playable in large field tournaments, assuming that Sabonis doesn't sit. But yeah, I mean, interest in George for sure. He's been the most consistent, like, upside player. Like you said, he got in foul trouble the other night against Denver. Shot 2 for 13. You could just tell when people are getting frustrated, and he was frustrated in that game. What do you like here for the Kings? Twice in one podcast.
Sorry. I tried to play it off too. Like
he's got money on his mind. For anyone not watching live, everybody listening on the iTunes or Spotify, if you just heard an ad, it's because I try to cover for Will when he mutes his mic with some ads. There you go.
Yeah. Man, look. De'Aaron Fox has been really good. I will say this. These are still NBA teams. Do I think Sacramento will be deflated if they lose this game, especially if Fox just continues to not play well? Yes. But they're going to be at home. Like, I could see a world where Fox just kind of goes off for 60 here against the Clippers. I mean, we've seen Reggie Jackson do it just the other night. Like, elite point guard play has been punishing this team. No secret, James Harden's the point guard. He's primary on defense. So I don't hate Fox here. If Sabonis is out, I absolutely like him, and then that'll probably. I don't really like to play Trey Lyles, but if Sabonis is out, I gotta think Trey Lyles is going to pick up way more minutes here, way more minutes. And Harrison Barnes is still cheap enough right now with Keegan Murray out, so I don't hate him either. Once again, this team is on a back-to-back, and we'll just kind of have to see how they respond. But I think those 2 or 3 guys are guys I would look at.
I know you love your recent trends. Over the last 5 games, the Clippers are the second highest defensive rated team. They're clicking. What they're doing right now is working. So I just want to throw that out there. Kings are expensive. They're on the second end of a back-to-back. You're getting shooters on the second end of a back-to-back. Could Fox go for 60 in this game? Yeah, he could. I wish he was doing it on Tuesday night. He's not.
Hey, the game's not over. Like we've seen these Sacramento Golden State games just flip on their head. I wouldn't count it out just yet.
All right, well,
but Golden State wants to win this game for what it's worth by more than 14 points.
All right, second half NBA. Oh man, I have enough exposure to Fox in the prop world that I'm not going to do it. Will, I hope he comes out shooting. That'd be fantastic. But all right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we'll get going here. Dave said, "Who took the over on 1.5 of Chiefs mutes?" Listen, he's had a good record. Like you got that at probably plus 200 here, so absolutely smashed it. All right, favorite play under 5K to go 7X. Who do you got?
Stevie, this one got real interesting for me today because I feel like people need to be out in order for this to really work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with someone that I absolutely think is going to play, and then we'll figure it out. I'm going with DeAndre Jordan. I think Jokic sits. I think he sits. I'm going with it, and my backup is going to be Josh Okogie because I do think KD or Allen sits as well.
Yeah, I mean I don't hate that here. I hate this question today because I mean there's so many potential question marks that we're going to be watching news wise to see like who is in and out. I mean I absolutely hate this question. For what it's worth, I don't really love anybody down here today. I think there's a lot of good 5K plays. I might build more balance because of that. Give me Fontecchio for Utah.
I like it. I don't hate that at all.
I just don't know if he has like that 7X. I know he did do it. He did it last game, I think. He was really close. So like I guess he's really close, but Utah with Markkanen out already. Kelly Olynyk sounds on the doubtful side of questionable, and Clarkson's questionable. So like I'll go Fontecchio here at 4,600. Over 8K to go under 5X. Who's your bust today?
I think we actually have a lot of those, Stevie. I'm gonna go with, believe it or not, give me Devin Booker at 10-3.
You better hope KD plays. I'm going to go Fred VanVleet. We already talked about just how hard it is going into Denver for the second end of a back-to-back. I know he just put up 49 fantasy points against this team like 3 nights ago. I'm going to take VanVleet. Who's your favorite 6X play today?
I'm going up top, Stevie. This has been a man amongst boys. Give me Joel Embiid.
Yeah, just absolutely smashing right now. Desmond Bane's my guy today. I think this is going to be a huge game for Desmond Bane. I mean, I can't wait to see his point prop. I've looked; it's not out yet. Looking again to see if it's out. It's not. They don't want me to bet this yet. So I like Desmond Bane a lot today.
Yeah.
Let's get weird. GPP play of the day. Who do you got for me?
I don't know how weird this is going to be, Stevie. So if you don't think it's weird enough, then I have one more. How weird do you think AD is? I just feel like people don't play AD ever. Like
Not when LeBron's playing. I mean,
give me AD at 9,800.
Yeah, pay up to get different. I like it. I hate the price tag on this guy, which is definitely going to help my case here for the let's get weird part. Excuse me. Oh, worst time to sneeze. Sorry if you guys heard that. I tried to get away from my mic as much as possible. Hate the price tag on this guy, which I think is going to help lower his ownership. So he's a perfect let's get weird GPP play of the day. Give me Keontae George. Double-digit shot attempts in 5 of his last 6 games. If Clarkson ends up sitting 2, there's enough minutes here for Utah for Keontae George to play in a game that's just going to be absolutely ugly. So I like Keontae George today as a let's get weird GPP play of the day.
I love that.
We don't have a ton of props up yet. I just got done saying it. Is there any bets or props that you like here?
Yeah, give me a second here. So I don't know where this line is going to come in at, Stevie, but here's what I'm going to take for sure. If AD comes in anywhere from 11.5 to 12.5 rebounds, I'm taking the over. Yeah, either one of those, I'm going over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Desmond Bane points something that I like. I want to.
You think he's going to come in 25.5?
Bane?
Yeah.
It's tough because, like, they have been bumping guys up in good matchups, so I could see Bane coming in at, like, 27, 26 and a half. I still think I like the over at 26, 27. I like, again, I'm very high on him today, but I think this is going to be a big Desmond Bane game. He's averaging 29 in 2 matchups against Utah already this season, points wise, and he had 37 the last time these two teams played. But I already said it. I like Clippers -1. It's moved to -1.5 on a couple books. I still like Clippers -1.5 in this game. I really like the Clippers in this game. I think they're going to handle their business. They've been playing great defense, like I mentioned, and they have so many scores. Like Paul George's going to have a bounce back game. Sacramento, tough potential loss here. Maybe they come back in this game. They have momentum, and then they get crushed by the Clippers, and I still win my bet. So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I had a fun time with this with Stevie. Thanks so much for having me on and filling in this time. And I think I'm on one more time this week. Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yep.
Yeah, so I'll be back again tomorrow. This is fun. Thanks so much.
Yeah, we'll have 2 podcasts tomorrow. We'll have football and NBA, so we'll keep the NBA streets rolling here, and we'll have football as well. Are you on Friday too? You might be on Friday as well. So you might be on the rest of the week. Okay. We might get hoops with Chief the rest of the week. I just got done doing the morning grind schedule, and I almost always put you on Fridays. So you're on Friday too. So you guys get Will on 2 more days for NBA with me this week. So that's always fun. All right, we're going to get out of here. Hope everyone has a fantastic Tuesday night that's watching live. Hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday that's listening to this while they're drinking their coffee. Back tomorrow, basketball and football. Good luck, everyone. See you then.